How I Met Your Mother ending was poor.
Was probably the series' most polarized.
Was the official ending really that? Felt so rushed that we barely cared for old who's
Finale caused a controversy would be quite the understatement.
Hello everyone, this is the glass half full. And this is why I love the How I Met Your Mother ending. Let me start by saying that I'm not trying to convince you the ending is perfect or you have to like it. This is my own opinion and you can choose to agree with it or not. I know it's kind of hard to have an opinion on the internet these days, but I want to show you mine. So just hear me out, alright? Before I get into my thoughts on the ending, let me talk about the show itself. I'm assuming everyone who clicked on this video has seen the entire show. If you didn't, I don't really know why you're here in the first place, but I guess here's a quick history lesson. How I Met Your Mother at its core is a show about a lovable friend group going through the motion of life. Marshall, Robin, Lily, Barney, and most importantly, Ted, is what carry the show and make it one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time. Along with a more story-based narrative instead of an episodic narrative, it makes it stand out more in a somewhat oversaturated genre of TV. The final season of How I Met Your Mother concludes with Robin accepting Barney's proposal and Ted accepting a job offer in Chicago, away from the rest of the gang. At this point, it becomes clear to the audience that the gang is drifting apart, and Ted's long journey is finally coming to an end. The final season takes place throughout a single weekend, right before Barney and Robin get married. And at the end of season 9, Marshall becomes a judge, Ted meets the mother, and Barney and Robin are happily married. During the finale, which takes place over the course of several years, everyone's new lives appear to be going well. This is until we learn of Barney and Robin's sudden divorce, caused by Robin's focus on her career, which has been a consistent theme throughout all her past relationships. The divorce causes Barney to go back to his man-whore self, and Robin to stop seeing the gang as she feels awkward around them now. Years pass, and during one of his legendary one-night stands, Barney gets a girl pregnant, who ends up having the baby. Upon seeing his newborn daughter, Barney's priorities become apparent to him, and he decides to take care of his daughter. Realizing that everyone's growing up, Ted decides to finally marry Tracy and begin his new life as a husband and a father. The gang end up rekindling their friendship with Robin, and everything turns out alright. The final scene of the show takes place at a train stop, where Ted first meets Tracy. This ends off an amazing series, in a somewhat safe, but satisfying way. In an alternate version. And guys, I'm not kidding. Due to all the backlash from the original finale, the creators made another version in order to compensate for what they did before. I honestly find it pretty cool how the creators handled the backlash. It's nice to know that people who were disappointed in the ending got something that matched their expectations in the end. If you're wondering how to find this so-called other finale, they released it to a DVD for the final season. I don't have this DVD because I couldn't find it on Amazon, but I got my Simpsons DVD and wrote How I Met Your Mother DVD. I wanted to put alternate version in it, but I couldn't fit it. You could probably just find it on YouTube, honestly. The finale that first aired was a lot more controversial. It was revealed that Tracy got sick and died, which broke Ted's heart. Towards the end of the finale, we cut back to the present day, where Ted finally concludes his story. His kids make it evident that Ted isn't being upfront with them. Why would he spend so much time talking about his romance with Aunt Robin if this was a story of how he met their mother? No, Ted clearly told them the story to gauge how they feel if he asked out Robin once again. Ted immediately denies this, but after some back and forth with his kids,
they convince him to try once more. The actual final scene is Ted outside of Robin's apartment with the blue French horn, his grand romantic gesture. This is classic Ted, and a callback to the first episode of the series, where Ted gives Robin the same blue French horn.
Now, I don't want to sound like a blind fanboy and defend every aspect of the ending. Yes, I love the finale, but loving something doesn't make it perfect or mean to criticism in any possible way. Now, before I talk about why I love the ending, I'm going to talk about the three main gripes the fans seem to have with the ending. Now, before I get into that, let me talk about Marshall and Lily's ending. Oh my god, they went to Italy, they named their daughter Daisy, Marshall became a judge. Oh, it's so perfect, and that's the one aspect the fans seem to like about the ending as well. Everything else, though. Alright, let me just start talking about it.
Now I must admit that spending a whole season building up to Barney and Robin's marriage, just for them to divorce 5 minutes into the ending, that's not good writing. The writers shouldn't have built up Barney and Robin's marriage, let alone relationship, for 6 seasons, just for it to end in such an underwhelming way.
This is like saying the end of Pursuit of Happiness, when Chris Gardner Lily goes through hell and back. After finally getting a job at the broker firm, he just says, nah, never mind, I want to become a chef instead. Or in the new Star Wars trilogy, when they literally hype up Snoke for a movie and a half, just for him to die in such an underwhelming... Oh. Wait. Anyway.
The second primary problem audience have with the ending is the death of Tracy. Tracy was perfect for Ted in every possible way, and it really does suck what happens to her character. I just wish we got to see more of Ted and Tracy interacting after they met at the train station. The fans must have felt cheated on by the ending. The mother's been teased for 9 years, just for it to be offhandedly explained when she died, 6 years before the present storyline.
Okay, so I kinda lied about that. They did kinda foreshadow in episode 19, season 9, when she talks about, whose mother wouldn't show up for her own daughter's wedding, and she's referring to herself. Still, most of the audience can pick up on that one line of dialogue. Hell, even I didn't, till my sister pointed out to me.
Lastly, the one we've all been waiting for is the biggest reason for the final episode's backlash. Like, I'm serious. If this thing never happened, I doubt the end would be that controversial like it is now, even including Tracy's death and Barney and Robin's divorce. Which is, of course, we never found out if Marshall got mugged by a monkey or not. Like, I'm serious, we don't...
Alright, I'm kidding. Kinda. I still want to know who mugged him, but we'll probably never find out.
Ted gets back together with Robin. This is what made people not only hate the ending, but the entire show. And I'm not kidding, I've talked to people who flat out hate the show because there's one decision. While I understand the backlash from this decision, personally, I feel the complete opposite. Because this is the one aspect of the ending that I loved.
Finally, we're here. Honestly, for most of this video, I've been relentlessly bashing the ending. So, why do I love the ending so much? Well, it's because it felt real. And I'll say that one more time. The ending of How I Met Your Mother felt real and different to most other sitcoms. So, what do I mean by that? Well, How I Met Your Mother falls under the category of ensemble sitcoms, like other shows like Friends or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And don't get me wrong, those shows are good in their own right, but How I Met Your Mother always felt different than your average episodic sitcom.
It's a show that focuses a lot more on the story, rather than an episode-by-episode approach. It likes to tackle some heavy themes in certain episodes, and the events of the show don't always go the character's way. Case in point, Marshall's dream to become an environmental lawyer, which ultimately didn't work out the way he wanted to and had to settle for another job. Another example, Robin and Barney. They truly loved each other, but life had other plans for them. Robin just cared too much about her work, and that caused them to drift apart, and there was nothing they could have done to save the relationship. It's no one's fault, but in the end, it was the best for the both of them. They both said that they still loved each other, but life forced them to drift away. In the end, Robin got to live out her dream as a news reporter who everyone took seriously, and Barney found his real purpose in life, a child that he can call his own. So although they weren't right for each other, they still got what they wanted in the end. And finally, Ted. After countless searching and after failure, he never gave up. Finally, he found Tracy and got his happily ever after. Or so he thought. Because life will never end neatly, as the hardships will continue. Death is a devastating thing, and Tracy's death still haunts Ted and prevents him from moving on for 6 years. Ted truly loved her, but life had other plans. And while Ted tried to keep her memories alive by telling his story to his kids, he still misses her. And in the end, it was the kids, yes, it was the kids, not Ted, who think Ted should try to go for Robin once more, because he truly needed someone to fill that hole Tracy left. The ending made me love How I Met Your Mother more than I already did. It wasn't by having some perfect ending where the characters got what they want in the end, but by taking risks and teaching the audience how callous life can get. Because life will never give you a perfect ending like the Friends finale, and even though it sucks, you have to accept life for what it is, no matter how it treats you. Ted had moments of weakness, but he always believed that the universe was on his side, and one day he would find love. And he did.
Well, that's all I have here for today. If you like this video, then consider subscribing. If you do, I'll make more How I Met Your Mother content in the future, because I genuinely really love this show. Well, that's all the time I've got. Until next time, this is the glass half full. And I don't know how to record an outro.